Hello, everybody, and welcome to Toyah At Home. The year is certainly hotting up. There's a lot going on. I have quite a few people just trying to organise aeroplane tickets, car journeys, train tickets to get me from A to B. It's going to be a very busy and very brilliant year. But without Robert here, because he's still in the United States touring for another 4 days, I can get a lot done. Also, I get control of the remote for the TV, and I've watched some fantastic documentaries. My favourite in a long time is Jagged, Alanis Morissette. Oh my goodness, I just fell deeper in love with her every minute through that documentary. So inspiring. Her strength, her attitude, her truth, her writing. And it was quite amazing to hear in her words that she got criticized for making blame against others when really she was just saying her experience. She was freeing herself through her experience. And I found that really liberating to listen to, and to listen to her songs and see her stage performances was magnificent. The other documentary that has fascinated me, especially after in about 2019, I had 3 hours in the same room as Pete Doherty doing a radio show with him. And watching his documentary, Stranger in My Own Skin, was absolutely fascinating. I never really knew the Libertines. At that time, 80s music was taking off in such a big way. I was doing arena tours in the early 2000s. I was just all over the place. I was in Europe, I was in Ireland, it was everywhere. So I never got to hear other artists that much. And I really enjoyed what I heard on Stranger in My Own Skin. I thought the Libertines music was incredible. The flow of it, the value of the words, the scanning of the words, absolutely amazing. Having spent a couple of hours with Pete Doherty, and this was at Radio 4, BBC Radio 4, 2019, April. I mean, I felt that we never got below the surface of the person there. He was very, very complex. He was incredibly polite, very quiet, very humble, but at the same time, very aware of the power he had over everybody. It was absolutely fascinating. And the journey he's been on since then to now is even more fascinating for me. Just extraordinary. But the documentary is incredible. Another documentary that I've really enjoyed is Ralph Steadman, who was friends with Hunter S. Thompson. This is Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. And as a very instinctive, very improvisational artist, when I put pen to paper and when I put paint to paper, I just love watching how Ralph Steadman worked, how he was triggered by shape and colour, because I am really triggered by colour. The way some people get a high from listening to music or get a high from drinking alcohol or various other things. I only have to look at colour to get that high. And I just found his way of working incredible. So I thought I would briefly take you through the last month. When I was driving into Belfast on the tour bus with Heaven 17 last month, very briefly, very briefly, we went past the King's Hall. Now, I played the King's Hall, I believe, December 1981, and it was one of the most exciting gigs of my life. In fact, we had to stop the show because my heels were pulled off my boots by the audience, and there was 10,000 people in there. And I fell into the audience, and I was only in the audience for about 15 seconds. But by the time I was put back on the stage, I was only in my bra and pants. Also in that time, kids had stormed the stage and they took 40 microphones. It was just one of those shows. So very briefly, I was on the bus with Heaven 17, Glenn Gregory was making up pictures of me on his app where I looked like some kind of sci-fi person in my coat. And I thought, it's the King's Hall. And I tried to film it. It's literally, you've got it for 2 seconds at the very most. And then Glenn Gregory, who loves doing his artwork, was kind of taking pictures of me and then altering them, which was lovely. But when we were at the venue in Belfast, we all discovered that we really love ghost hunting. It's something I've done on a few occasions with Chris Wong and the original Toyah band from this millennium. And we absolutely loved it. But Glenn Gregory, myself, and the band were sitting down talking about our haunting experiences. So we just decided to contact Uncanny and say, come and film us, come and see our stories. Danny, come on over, we want to see you. Before Robert went to America, we have had time to socialise, which has been gorgeous, because in 2023, there was just none of that. There was too much to do. So we had lunch this week with Bill Fellows, who played my husband in Give Them Wings, but he's also, for the last 3 years, has been in Coronation Street, which means on his way up north to Manchester, he can always drop in and visit us. And I introduced him to our neighbour, Chris Gard, who I made Children of the Circus with. Now, Chris Gard was in the original Doctor Who, Children of the Circus. He's also a brilliant songwriter. And I do believe, because Chris Gard, just look him up, has had the most fabulous acting career since he was a child. I mean, he's been in everything and he's had big starring roles, but I do believe he was actually in Lord of the Rings as well. So we managed to meet up at our local inn, and everyone, what we love about meeting up is Bill Fellows always has a story to tell. Chris Gard always has a story to tell. And what I really love is Robert doesn't get a word in edgeways. It's brilliant. And we're really looking forward to the spaces we have this year to see our friends. When I landed back from Belfast, we were in flood here. There's been a lot of rain in the last month. But what's fascinated me and is fascinating the town, because a lot of us here are similar age groups and we've known this river all our lives, is that the river is behaving in a way we have never seen. I've known this river for 63 years, so I started to document the speed with which the river was coming up and going down. So I came back the Sunday morning, the 11th of February, and I filmed this. Now, I've known the River Avon all my life. I first came here when I was 2 years old. It has never behaved like this. Never. So this came up overnight while I was away. So it came right up to here. You can see where it's carried the leaves. So it's going down now. But I've only been away for 72 hours. Then on the 19th of February, I decided to film the garden again, because in that period of 8 days, the river had come up very quickly, went down reasonably quickly, but then this happened. So it's now 9 days after I last filmed. It's the 19th of February. And in that time, the last waters went down, and take a look at what happened overnight. I've known this river for 63 years. And I have never known this kind of behaviour of the water. So we have had a lot of rain. There's been a lot of rain in the Midlands and up north. So the waters are now tending to go up and down very, very quickly. This came up overnight after some rain. So our gardener has very kindly put a brick as to where the water was this morning, but it is actually coming up, even though I know the Severn is going down. And this is our other garden that's coming up. I've this time managed to move furniture and chairs. So this is behaviour I have just never seen before on this river. The kind of speed of how the water is rising and the effect it's having. I'm going to try and walk along this wall. Hang on. Yep, I'm now underwater. Here we go. Oh, up on the wall. Let's see how far I can go. I wouldn't say I'm afraid, I wouldn't say I'm hugely worried, but this is a change in behavioural pattern that I have never seen in all my time on this river. Oh good, I'm able to go quite, here we go, all right. Never seen this. So the floodplain over the river is completely full. I'm gonna try and do this. We have a 15-foot incline going up to the house. We've also tanked our cellars to try and minimise water damage. But this is still coming up. So already Cropthorne Bridge is flooded, Eckington Bridge is flooded. The next bridge to flood will be our bridge. I'm kind of hoping this might go down overnight. The reach, the other side of those green buoys, is usually a good 15 to 20 feet lower, but you can see it's now the same depth as our level. This is new behaviour. On the 23rd, the same happened again, and I was just off to York to do Sounds of the 80s with Gary Davies, and thought I'm going to have to film this because it literally came up in a matter of hours. But then fortunately, the next day, it balanced and went down again. It's quite a strange thing to see that amount of water just not draining off. I mean, obviously the water table is up, but where is this water coming from? And when you consider we will be in drought for the summer, where does the water go? How can we not harness this? And I've never seen anything like it. Our tulips are out, our magnolia are out. I've even got the flatella out, which is a beautiful speckled little lantern. We only have it for 2 weeks. It's a flower my mother gave me, and I really feel very protective of it when it flowers. That's already out. That can happen as late in March or in April. We've got our tulip trees in leaf. It's just a very strange time. So I've just decided to document the river so that I can share this with my town and they can know that, you know, they're not alone. We're feeling all of this together. Now, later this month, I said we had some announcements coming. Well, there is a absolutely brilliant announcement coming about this wonderful live album, Warrior Rock, on Cherry Red. Craig Ashley and Alan Sawyers are doing the design now, and they are telling me, well, actually, I know, I've seen it. It's an absolutely stunning package, and we've found some incredible new material for you. And there's going to be just lovely little surprises for all of you to enjoy that you won't have seen or heard before. So we're going to play out now with a fun song. Oh God, I just love this song. I love performing it so much. And I cannot believe when I was about 12, I broke into a venue in Birmingham through the exit to see Black Sabbath, and I saw them perform this live, and it really was one of the most exciting songs in their set. The energy is incredible. Well, this is Toyah and Robert performing Paranoid at the Isle of Wight. I'll see you tonight for an upbeat moment. Robert is coming from America. I am coming from the UK, and we will have a visit to a vintage Sunday lunch for you tomorrow. Lots of love from Toyah. Now, I'm a girl from Birmingham, and I don't mind telling you, when I was 11, I broke into the top rank in Birmingham to see a band called Black Sabbath. And that is why I am who I am today. Finish with my woman, 'cause she couldn't help me with my mind. People think I'm insane because I'm unrounded all the time.
I just took those words back to the punk movement of 1977.